Most people think aging is something that just happens quietly in the background of their lives. But after 20 years working directly with people in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond, here's what I know. The people who age the best aren't lucky. They aren't doing anything extreme, and they certainly aren't living in fear of what's coming. They're simply paying attention. And that's what I want to talk about today. If you're new here, my name is Allison O'Shea. I spent over 2 decades working inside senior living, and most of that time was spent watching crisis unfold. Not because people did anything wrong, but because aging conversations happen too late. I watched families make rush decisions. I watched independence slip faster than it needed to. And I watched people move into assisted living, not because it was the best option, but because it was the only option left. Today, through my work with Openly Aging, I focus on the opposite. I teach people how to stay ahead of crisis, how to remain intentional, and show how many people can avoid assisted living altogether by paying attention earlier when nothing is wrong. And I want to say this clearly. If you're watching this and thinking, I'm fine, I don't need anything, good. This message is for you. When I say aging requires you to pay attention, I don't mean watching for problems. I mean staying aware of your life as it exists right now. Paying attention means not drifting on autopilot, not assuming things will always stay the same, and not avoiding the conversation just because everything is going well. Because aging well doesn't start when something goes wrong, it starts when things are going right. The people I've seen stay independent the longest didn't wait for a reason to reflect. They checked in with themselves while life was still working. They asked questions like, is my life set up the way I want it to be? Am I protecting what matters most to me? If something changed years from now, would I still have choices? That's not fear, that's intention. Aging quietly rewards people who stay involved in their own lives. And staying involved doesn't mean planning for decline or preparing for the worst. It actually means paying attention early enough that nothing has to be rushed later. And if this idea of being intentional about aging resonates with you, if you're listening and thinking this feels different, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. This channel is about calm, honest conversations that help you stay in control, not scare you into action. So how do you pay attention without turning aging into a project? I use a very simple framework for this, not as a checklist, but as a lens. I call it the 4 pillars of aging well. These aren't problems to fix, they're just areas to notice. The first pillar is your support system. This isn't about needing help. It's about connection. Who are the people in your life who ground you, know you, and would notice if something changed? Paying attention here is about protecting those relationships, not replacing independence. The second pillar is your home. Not whether you need to move, not whether anything has to change. Just asking, does my environment support the life I enjoy living today? Many people stay independent longer simply because their home continues to work with them, not against them. The third pillar is supportive services. This isn't about using any sort of service. It's about awareness, knowing what exists, what aligns with your values, and what keeps life easier before urgency enters the picture. Information creates a calm, essentially. And the fourth pillar is social connection. And this is not how busy you are, not how full your calendar looks, but whether you feel connected to people, purpose, and community. This pillar protects more than people realize. Here's what matters most. None of these pillars require action today. They simply require attention. Paying attention is how people avoid crisis. It's how they stay independent longer, and it's how many avoid assisted living altogether. If you're in your 70s, early 80s, this is actually the ideal time for this mindset. You still have clarity, you still have choice, and you still have control. This isn't about preparing for decline. It's about protecting the life you've built. So if you take nothing else from this video, take this. Aging well isn't about fixing something. It's about paying attention early enough to keep what's working, working. If you want to continue these conversations, subscribe here and you can explore more calm, non fear based resources at openlyaging.com. Because aging doesn't require panic, it doesn't require urgency, but it does benefit from a little attention.